7 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. I don't know which is scarier, sending a son off to war or sending a daughter off to college. Does that sound like a crazy thing to wonder about? The reason I'm saying that is, listen to this. 6% of... Well, let me say this other one first. 1 in 5 women are sexually assaulted during their time in college. 1 in 5. I have 2 women in this room right now. My gosh. 6% of young men commit 90% of the rapes on campus, which gives the other 94% of us a bad name.
Yeah,
right?
it does.
That's what I was saying. A disproportionate number of rapes happen in the first week of college. Experts call it the red zone. There are so many statistics here that are very troubling. Not to mention the legal messes that they go through, the girls go through when they report a rape, and the fact that they report them is even, I guess, small. I guess a lot of them go unreported. Allison Leotta is on the phone. She's been with us before. It's always great to have her on. She's a very talented novelist, but she writes her novels drawing from her background as an attorney. She served as an assistant U.S. attorney in Washington, D.C., where she handled sex crimes, domestic violence, and crimes against children. She's a contributor to PBS, CNN, Reuters TV, MSNBC. She's the founder of the award-winning blog titled The Primetime Crime Review. And her new book is called The Last Good Girl. I think this is her 5th one we read, right? Mm-hmm. It's a thriller novel. And I've asked our friend Vanessa Lane Jennings to be with us. Vanessa just did her segment, and I said, you got to stick in with this for this, because Vanessa, this is for Allison's sake, because Allison wouldn't know. Vanessa is an attorney here in Ocala, handles family law all the time. Allison Leotta, good morning, Allison. How are you?
Good morning, Larry. It's great to be back. And hello, Vanessa.
Hi, Allison.
Where are you? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Michigan, where I am on my book tour right now.
Which is more fun, writing fictional crime or actually handling it as an attorney?
Oh, well, writing it is definitely more fun. I think handling it, you have to be super serious, and especially as a prosecutor, you got to get it right. Really? You got to make sure you got the facts right and what you can prove in court under the rules of evidence. But as a novelist, I can just have fun with it. I can just let my imagination go wild and just, try to entertain.
But if I were to write a novel similar to what you wrote, I wouldn't have a clue what legal stuff I needed to put in there. What sounded far-fetched? What didn't? What sounded real? So
you would write a great radio host, wouldn't you?
Oh, I could do that. Oh, that's a good point. That's a really good point. So, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that you, as a reader, when you read other authors' writings where they've created an attorney character, is it sometimes not up to what it should be? I mean, could you be like a counselor for an attorney? Yeah, Vanessa's shaking her head too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I bet Vanessa feels this way too. It's the TV crime dramas. I just want to throw popcorn at the TV sometimes. They get things so wrong in it. Popcorn. And also just knowing as a prosecutor, I would know, the jury's going to have seen that, and they're going to think we have this Harry Potter magic to solve crimes, and we really don't have that Harry Potter, magic black light that can just instantly ding, 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 tell you who did it. Yeah. So knowing that I was going to face that in the courtroom the next day also made it extra frustrating to watch those TV crime dramas.
Do you know, I don't know if other men have said this to you, and I think I said this to you last time you were on, but I was pleasantly surprised when I found that you had a healthy relationship with men. I did. I remember. Do you remember this? Because I thought, oh my gosh, all the crap you've seen that what is it? 9% of us or 6% of us are bad guys, right? Okay.
Yes, about that. I don't just go around in my life pepper spraying every man that I meet. I actually have a nice, lovely dad. He was a prosecutor too, inspired me to do this.
Oh, that helps.
My husband is also a prosecutor, and I have 2 little boys. So I'm surrounded by guys.
Good, you need to be.
The only thing I have is a girl dog. She has a pink leash. That's me and her against the world.
Oh, no. So give us a thumbnail sketch of the story in The Last Good Girl.
Well, a college girl has gone missing, and our fictional sex crimes prosecutor, Anna, has to find out where she is before it's too late, hopefully find her alive. And as she does this investigation, she starts to uncover some really deep and dirty secrets in the college and in the girl's family. And we have to kind of go through it. And it's about the issue of campus rape.
Oh, so she may have been raped before, but nobody ever reported it?
She may have been raped before and may have even reported it and had it kind of swept under the rug by the college.
And I'm guessing that's you extracted that from a real life case or something?
Unfortunately, it happens all too often. There is just way too much inspiration for this book. So you said that 1 in 5 number, 20% of girls, 5% of boys who go to college will be raped or sexually assaulted during their time in college. And yet for years and years, most colleges report 0 rapes on their campus every year. So you can see the math doesn't add up, and the colleges certainly have an incentive to kind of look away, to not publicize these numbers, because no one wants their daughter going to rape you.
One of the things in the notes say that a university can be sued for kicking a boy out. So have you had that happen where a boy, I mean, is he innocent until proven guilty, or can they kick him out before he's proven guilty?
Well, I haven't had it happen because I was a prosecutor, so I prosecute the crime. But yes, within the college disciplinary system, if the boy is kicked out for assaulting somebody, then he can turn around and sue. And there have been suits like that around the country. Whereas if he's not kicked out, if he's kept in the campus, then there's no lawsuit. So there's definitely another incentive. I think when you look at these systems and why people do it, you have to look at incentives. And the college, on just many different levels, has an incentive to not find these boys and to not kick them out.
Have you ever had a case like that? Vanessa, have you ever had a case of sexual assault?
I have not had a case like that. No, I haven't. Because I was a prosecutor in Miami for the domestic violence unit. So I've seen it at the same angle that she has down there in their university system. So it's prevalent because it's hard, because for the university, and I'm sure she could attest to this, if you're looking at it from their angle, until he's not convicted of anything yet, but the victim's family wants him off campus forever. Well, his family said he's technically innocent until proven guilty. He should be able to stay in school until the courts figure it out. So I can see how that would be a problem, but that would be a case that I would, entertain.
Mm-hmm. So how do you know? I mean, how do you know what to believe?
Well, that's hard. How do you know what to believe is a hard thing. But I think what you have to start off doing as a prosecutor is you believe and you dignify the victim. You have them come in and you start with the assumption that the survivor is telling the truth. I think too often investigations start with the assumption that, oh, is she lying or is she not? Start with the assumption she's telling the truth, and then you go and you corroborate. I think there's this myth that every sexual assault is a he said, she said, and that's just not the case. I think in so many cases, you can find additional evidence. You find corroboration, whether it's in the form of a bar tab or witnesses who were at the bar, social media posts before or afterwards, text messages between the two parties, emails, phone calls that can be set up and recorded. There's all sorts of corroboration that you can find, and good investigators can and do find that.
Talk to us about the PTSD part of my notes here. Is there a character in the book with PTSD? I know it says your photographer. Did he lose both of his legs in the war?
Yes. So the romantic interest of my fictional prosecutor, she has a very complicated romantic life, but it's a fun sort of romantic life. Her love interest is a war vet from Afghanistan, and he, he's American. He fought in the Afghan conflicts, and he lost a leg and suffers from PTSD. But he's a super cool urban farmer in Detroit. He's one of these guys trying to bring the city back from the brink in this kind of creative, cool way. And living in Washington, D.C., near Walter Reed Medical Center, I would see guys like this who had come back from Iraq or Afghanistan and would have a missing leg or arm or two legs gone, and they'd be there for getting rehabilitation. You just kind of see them jogging along the jogging paths or what have you. And so you see that a lot in D.C. because that's where they come to get their rehab work. And one of these really nice young men was a man named Jonathan Mullins, this real man who lived in my neighborhood. This nice young man. He was dating my babysitter, actually, at the time. And,
it's always a connection.
Yeah.
It's always good to have those nice babysitters. She was a cool person, too. She became a firefighter. They're a super cool couple. And he was really great with my kid, so cool about answering questions about his legs. And we got to talking about what his experience was like coming back from the war, dealing with PTSD, kind of finding a life and romance again after what had happened to him. And his story was just so great. I definitely drew a lot on that to make this character of Cooper in my book, which a lot of people who've read the book, especially women who read the book, say they just are crushing hard on Cooper. I really love to hear that. But in real life, Jonathan,
crushing hard. Yeah.
That's what you said. You said what I thought you said. Okay, I'm just.
Jonathan took my picture. So if you see my book there, Larry, that's Jonathan. Yeah.
There was a piece in here where it's talking toward the end of the book about violating Dillon's Fourth Amendment rights. Does that come up a lot where the actual U.S. Constitution comes into play?
Well, sure. Anytime you're executing a search warrant, for sure. Yeah, that you have to. That there's a right of people to be safe and private and secure in their own homes, and so if the police are going to bust into your house, they need to have a reason to. So every time there's a search warrant, the Constitution comes into play. So
as attorneys, you both have to have, extent knowledge on the U.S. Constitution, the state Constitution, the local laws. Everything has to be in your brain.
It's always in there.
Yes, but I don't know anything about plumbing, so.
No, you don't need to know plumbing.
No, that's not.
We all specialize. That's our specialty, all those laws. But I think what I try to do with my books and with The Last Good Girl is take those laws. I think we're all kind of interested in them, but make them not dry. Make them a fascinating story. Make it so the reader doesn't even, you're not even thinking what's, Fourth Amendment litigation. It's just you're swept away by the characters, by an interesting story. And if you learn a little bit in the meantime, then great, all the better.
If you need to get a search warrant, Vanessa, how long does that take, and what kind of proof do you have to have?
Well, I wouldn't get a search warrant. She would, it was normally the state or the government that's going to be getting the search warrant. So they have their whole process that they go through. Like the police will go and do their own investigation, normally figure everything out, get everything signed, or get everything together, show it to the judge, and then the judge who's ever on duty, at least in Marion County, that's how they do. They have a duty judge. He'll read it. If he finds probable cause, he'll go ahead and give the okay for the search warrant, sign off on it.
Oh, my.
So how do you determine that something is a federal sex crime? I don't understand that part.
Well, there's two things. One is in Washington, D.C., everything's prosecuted by federal prosecutors because it's a federal city, so there's no state DA's office. But there are also federal sex crimes in general, and we would handle both, so kind of local level, your average sort of sex assault, and also the things that would typically, even in a state, be considered a federal sex crime, like human trafficking, like kidnapping that would cross state lines, RICO violations where there's a large-scale organization, a criminal enterprise that's selling sex or that sort of thing.
Really? Am I committing a sex crime if I tip the girls over at Cafe Risque? Is that a sex crime?
That is not a sex crime.
No? Okay. Just making sure I'm not breaking the law.
And
I never did that. I'm just saying if I did.
I'm sure they're appreciative.
If I did.
They are.
Allison, can I ask you to hang on just a little bit? We have to take a little commercial break, and then we'll be back. I want to make sure the listeners know the details about, not the details about the book. Obviously, it's a novel, but just some more information. So we'll take a little break, and we'll be right back.
Get it for less at the DIY Home Center outlet. Get top quality real wood cabinets the same or less than the big box stores are selling the cheap stuff. And that's not all. Drywall screws big box stores are $6.47 a pound. At DIY, only $4.99. Plus, DIY has the largest selection of mobile home parts and accessories anywhere. From carpet to doors, get the DIY supplies you need for less. The DIY Home Center outlet. We are your building material closeout store. 2191 Northwest 10th Street, just 2 miles east of I-75.
This Mother's Day, join us for Pokin' for the Pee-wees. Saturday, May 7th, 11 to 2. Food, prizes, petting zoo, pictures with Disney princesses and superheroes, bounce houses, games, live music, and more. See you at Beautiful Moments Party Rental just south of the airport on 60th Avenue. Limited vendor space available. Call me, Dr. Erica Olstein, with A Better You Healthcare at 352-615-5566. 615-5566.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
80% of the super rich people in his study made a habit of associating with other success-minded individuals. They also consciously avoided toxic, negative people. It's nobody's business whether you're married, engaged, or starting a family because that's considered pregnancy discrimination.
Dark chocolate contains more antioxidants, called flavanols, than any fruit or vegetable out there. Surprised?
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Stay informed on everything going on in the villages with the Village Spectator newspaper. The Village Spectator is exclusively devoted to the villages with news, commentary, and more. And yes, they have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 804-1223 and pick up your copy of the Village Spectator today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
All right, 23 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Gosh, it's a nice Friday morning. Allison Leotta is on the phone. Her new book is The Last Good Girl. It's a thriller novel. Allison has an extensive background as an attorney. Specifically, she served as an assistant U.S. attorney in Washington, D.C. She handled sex crimes. We have invited Vanessa Lane Jennings to stick around with us because Vanessa obviously is an attorney. She does a show here on WOCA. And you know what I wanted to say to everybody, really, to Robin and Allison and Vanessa, when I started this interview, I said, which is scarier, sending your son off to war or sending your daughter to college? Because I wanted to make a point that we don't realize how scary it might be for a young woman entering college. And she probably has no clue either. Mm-hmm. But the one thing that if you were to hear these statistics, you might say to yourself is, but we got a legal system. She'll be taken care of. But it sounds like sometimes the loopholes can actually, especially when there's pressure on the college not to kick the boys out. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there's two systems. There's the college disciplinary system, and then there's the police system, jail time, the criminal justice system. They're two separate things. So a girl or survivor, boy or girl, who reports to the college does not necessarily go to the regular police, to the criminal justice system. And if you report to the criminal justice system, that doesn't necessarily go to the college. So it's kind of interesting, these two separate systems that don't necessarily interact with each other. But regardless of whether you report to one or the other, the fact is that most victims never report at all. 80% of victims never come forward and report to anybody. So
could I ask you, what would the advice be if a dad had a daughter in school and she told him and the mom, let's say she came to the parents and said, I was raped. Would you suggest that I'm going to give multiple choice, and you could have D? I have three things, and there might be a fourth that you say no, you don't have any of them, right, Larry? Okay. Choice A, you go to the school. Choice B, you go to the police, or choice C, you go to an attorney first. Who do you go to first?
D.
D. What's the D? Go ahead, Allison.
I don't know. I said I said go to the police first. I'm a prosecutor, and I'm going to say report. I think there's two reasons to report. Number one, I think it helps you heal. I think it's like putting iodine on a cut. It hurts more at first, but it helps things heal faster and cleaner. But two, it's because of that recidivist rate, because 6% of the boys are committing 90% of the assaults. If they've done it before, they're likely to do it again. And it's to get these serial predators off the street, make it so that they can't do it again. Another reason to go to the police is to immediately get a rape kit done. So a rape kit, as anyone who watches like Law & Order SVU or CSI knows, is the process by which a sex assault victim goes to a hospital and like his or her body is a crime scene, and a nurse is there to take evidence from that crime scene, swabbings and hairs and skin from under the fingernail, that sort of thing, put it in a little box, and it's sent off for DNA testing. But that sort of thing only lasts for 72 hours. DNA inside of you only lasts 72 hours. So there's a very small window in which to collect this very, very helpful and very probative evidence. So I would say go to the police first and go to the hospital. Don't shower, and get a rape kit done.
We have a situation in Florida right now with what's her name again? The pretty lady who's our state attorney general.
Pam
Bond, or Bondi, right? So, she said that we've got a lot of rape kits that have not been processed.
Yes, that's a huge issue. It's just, I think, one of the most scandalous things in the United States right now. It's estimated, nobody knows exactly how many, but it's estimated around 400,000 untested rape kits. And when they start testing, you find that there are serial rapists whose DNA we have just sitting on police shelves in warehouses across the country. So it's so important to get these tested.
And Vanessa, you said you do D? Choice D, what is that?
Oh, I would have, this is just if it was in my family, I would have whoever the victim was go to the police, and I'd have, as the parents simultaneously go to the college, so everyone's being told at the same time what's going on.
Oh, okay.
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
I would, and then the attorney would be on the phone on the way home.
Allison, could you hear her?
Yeah, I think that's great advice. I love that advice. Absolutely.
The book is called The Last Good Girl. It's a novel, and it's as spellbinding as this conversation has been.
It's a page turner.
Allison, let's see. You have a website with your name, right? AllisonLeotta.com?
Right.
Okay. And is the book available everywhere?
It's available everywhere. Go to your local indie bookstore. They're great community centers. It's at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, it's at Target, everywhere books are sold.
And you've really captured the personality of your characters in there, because when you have written the dialogue and they're speaking, you can actually feel what they're feeling.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice to hear.
You thank an FBI agent at the end, Steve Quisenberry. You thanked him. He must... Wow.
Steve is a great FBI agent. He and my husband was the prosecutor too. They worked a couple big cases together. And now whenever I have an FBI scene, I'm like, Steve, how would this go down within the agency? And he tells me. And so I actually named one of my fictional characters after him. There's a fictional Steve Quisenberry who's an FBI agent.
Ah, oh, that's cool. That's cool. Well, if it ever becomes a movie, he's going to hope that it's who would he want to play him?
Oh, yeah, I think he wanted himself to play him.
He want to play himself?
There you go.
Oh, good for him. Allison Leotta, thank you. Go to AllisonLeotta.com. Have a great Mother's Day, Allison. I know you told us you're a mom, so have a good Mother's Day.
Thank you. You all, too.
And Vanessa Lane Jenny, thank you for sitting in with us. That was fun.
Thank you for inviting me.
That was fun. We'll take a little break, and we'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. The latest read on the economy shows the unemployment rate stayed at 5%, but the job openings a lot fewer in April than expected.
The Labor Department says the number of non-farm jobs created was 160,000, the fewest in 7 months. Economists were forecasting more than 200,000 new jobs. Americans dropped out of the workforce in April. The labor participation rate declined